Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now January 28th of 2022, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2 and The Bad Batch, a lot of Star Wars fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars universe by George, John, and Dave, and exactly how they really are going to be combining both Star Wars Legends and the new Star Wars universe at heart. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So, what's really all the more intriguing at this point has everything to do with what exactly John, George, and Dave are doing with Star Wars Legends and mixing it with the new, and especially how the existing Disney canon is going to play a major role in all of that. So, it's already, of course, getting close to the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 6 and 7 before the series comes to a close for now. And then we move on to the marketing run of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series and the Bad Batch Season 2. Which, by the way, we're going to be getting both of those this spring, so that's another good thing to look forward to as well. Now, when you look at everything related to Kathleen Kennedy, alright, the president of Lucasfilm, we have seen what she has done to Star Wars for the past number of years, everything related to the sequel trilogy, the solo movies like Rogue One and the Han Solo spin-off. We have seen what she has done on a business level of Star Wars. I mean, everything is just wrong when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy and how she handles Lucasfilm as a company. So that leads us, of course, exactly as to what's going on with Kathleen Kennedy behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm and how it involves Disney CEO Bob Chapek and even George Lucas at that, and what really is happening between the three. Now, we already know that there's a lot of problems with the Acolyte TV show. There's a lot of problems with that project for the past number of months now, with a lot of firings, a lot of setbacks, etc. However, with both Disney and Lucasfilm now focused on their new Star Wars projects like Ahsoka and Mando Season 3, plus others that will be announced at Star Wars Celebration this year, both John and Dave Filoni are getting ready to make some big adjustments to the Star Wars universe behind the scenes. Now, further is described, however, that given that Disney's higher-ups are already pushing and planning out on how to fire Kathleen Kennedy by later this year, that is, of course, moving along smoothly based on her problems with the Acolyte series. It's described that Kathleen Kennedy is aware that Disney is progressing with the plan to replace her by this year's end that will go into full effect by early 2023. However, in response to that, Kathleen Kennedy is now pre-planning a way to actually quit from Lucasfilm before any of this happens at all. Kennedy is said to be moving along with a plan to quit from Lucasfilm before Disney even gets a chance to fire her from the company by the end of this year, and is already well into the works on developing her own production company that goes by the name of Starlight Productions that she plans to open up sometime in 2024. So, we talked about this lightly a couple of weeks ago, that Kathleen Kennedy is looking to opening up her own production company, basically her own version of Lucasfilm, to focus on her own version of sci-fi movies and TV shows, and that actually comes off as her admitting that she never really liked Star Wars right from the get-go. I think it just tells us everything that we need to know, based on what Kathleen Kennedy is already planning for Star Wars right now with the Acolyte series, of how it all shifts away from the philosophy of George Lucas. It all takes away the beloved aspects of George Lucas's vision. It just goes to show you exactly how much Kathleen Kennedy does not like Star Wars and the fandom at that. So her creating her own production company, to me, it is the biggest way for her to admit that she never really wanted to even come on board to handle Star Wars. She only wanted to come on board to actually create her own legacy, to create her own audience that would accept her version of Star Wars, not necessarily what Star Wars is meant to be. And that's all there is to it when it comes to that, We've seen this time and time again with each project under Kathleen Kennedy, that everything falls into creative differences, everything leads to firings, everything leads to a lot of problems behind the scenes, on the set. We've seen this plenty of times, it never ends. And, this is exactly how you spell out Kathleen Kennedy as, a business person, or as a producer, or as a president. She's a person that has a lot of problems when it comes to making those decisions. So, Kennedy's plan is to essentially quit from Lucasfilm before Disney gets the chance to fire her and focus on her new production company for the next 2 years before it becomes a reality. Her new production company is set to feature tons of new sci-fi movies and TV shows that are going to be an attempt to create a competitor against Star Wars. She is also planning to bring over some of the Lucasfilm employees that support her vision of the Star Wars universe and her vision of Starlight Productions. Now, this is a big move by Kathleen Kennedy, as she is trying to keep her own legacy alive and well before she retires by 2025 from the film industry altogether. Now, it's a production company that she plans to leave behind for somebody else to control once she leaves the industry, given that George Lucas and Bob Chapek have had many issues with the actual direction of the Acolyte series, with Kennedy, of course, creating so many setbacks and problems with the show that led to tons of revenue loss for Disney. Now, this is what initiated Disney to want to fire Kennedy from Lucasfilm altogether. Kennedy is now responding to that in an attempt to leave and quit from Lucasfilm earlier than expected, and to step down from anything Star Wars related on a business level. So once again, I think that her creating her own production company is a big problem. It goes to show us that she does not care about, the Star Wars philosophy. She's going to be creating her own sci-fi projects and her own sci-fi movies and TV shows, whatever have you. I believe that we already have enough of that, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere, to tell you guys the truth. I mean, we already have things like Star Trek and, other sci-fi franchises out there, either in movies or TV show formats. We've seen that already. It's all said and done. I mean, sure, new things are great and all, but under Kathleen Kennedy, not so much, We already see what she has done to the Star Wars franchise, and her creating her own spin on creating her own Lucasfilm, creating her own sci-fi franchise. It's just not going to work out, in my opinion, to tell you the truth. So, this is where things begin to escalate a little bit further. Now, Kathleen Kennedy is already planning to bring writer Leslie Headland on board of her new production company that she is all set and ready to announce sometime next year to everyone around the world. Disney is aware of her creating her own company that will focus on a new era of sci-fi movies and TV shows, and Disney sees this as being quite aggressive. Kennedy has always wanted to create her own fandom, and it's something that she wanted to do with Star Wars that never worked out for her in the long run. So, once again, this is a prime example. She is dragging over a lot of the top-tier Lucasfilm employees and creatives to actually come on board of her own production company. This is, of course, people like Leslie Headland is a great example, the writer of the Acolyte TV series, somebody that's very much like Kathleen Kennedy at heart. They're both very alike, so it just makes sense. Now, will Kathleen Kennedy actually fall, through all of these plans? Will she actually follow all these plans to quit before Disney gets the chance to fire her by later this year? That all depends on the Acolyte TV series. That all depends on how that show goes, because she wants to make sure that she can at least leave that project behind being successful and being a part of her legacy over at Lucasfilm. That's her main goal right now, and that's exactly why she's trying so hard on that show, and why it's had so many different setbacks and so many different problems, is because she's overthinking things too much. She's really going, I guess you could say, too aggressive on that show. She's really treating it like it needs to be completely different too much, and it's just not going to work out. So, overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.